Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to discuss Rousseau's first discourse on the sciences and arts. This it was edited by Susan Dunn. First, its preface. In its preface, Rousseau says this is one of the biggest and most important questions people have ever discussed. In fact, Rousseau's first discourse, it won the first prize in the Academy of Dijon in Paris. So, about this, he is telling us in the preface. This is one of the biggest and most important questions people have ever discussed. This discourse does not deal with difficult abstract ideas. These complicated ideas often take over literature. Even announcements for academic competitions are not always free from them. Instead, this discourse talks about truths that directly relate to human happiness. Truths that directly relate to human happiness. I know people may not easily forgive me for my opinion, Rousseau says. I know I have taken a bold position and a risky position. I am going against everything that is most admired in my time. So I expect almost everyone to criticize me. देखिए, वो पहले से ही बता रहे हैं. Yes. I know that the approval of a few wise people is not enough for me to hope for public approval. But I have made my decision. I do not worry about pleasing cultured or fashionable people. There will always be people who are controlled by the opinions of their age. In fact, majority of the people, they are controlled by the opinions of the society, opinions of other people. They don't live as they want to live. Majority people live as others want them to live. So this is what Rousseau is pointing to. He says there will always be people who are controlled by the opinions of their age. There will always be people shaped by their society. They don't think on their own. They don't change themselves on their own. They don't improve. Rather, they are shaped by their society. They don't shape themselves on their own. A man who acts like a free thinker and philosopher today would have been a fanatic in the time of the Holy League for the same reasons. What was the Holy League? I have consulted the dictionary and provided its explanation here. The Holy League, either of two European leagues sponsored by the papacy in the late 15th and early 16th centuries, formed for the purpose of protecting Italy from threatened of French domination. In the 15th century and again in the 16th century, Italy faced a threat from France that it will be occupied. And the papacy, the Pope and his followers, they formed this Holy League to save Italy, to protect Italy from French occupation. So it was called the Holy League. An author, so in fact, Rousseau is referring to the Holy League. He says, a man who acts like a free thinker and philosopher today would have been a fanatic in the time of the Holy League for the same reasons. Even in those days, the people, majority of the people were like this. They were shaped by the society. They would live under others' desires, according to others' likes and dislikes. In fact, Rousseau is trying to make us aware of the fact, and he is trying to to draw our attention that we should not live a traditional life. We should dare to think differently. We should be able to think differently to change ourselves. So, an author who wants his work to live beyond his own era should not write for such people. Pay attention. Rousseau says, an author who wants his work to live beyond his own era. So just imagine after 300 years we are studying him. So he was aware of this, that my words are important, my thoughts are important, and they will remain relevant and important even after centuries. An author who wants his work to live beyond his own era should not write for such people who are not willing to think, who are not willing to change. I don't worry about them. I don't bother. I want to add one last point. I did not expect the honor that was given to me, the first prize. He won the first prize in the contest. So he says, I did not expect the honor that was given to me. After submitting my discourse, I changed it a lot. I expanded it so much that it became almost a new work. But today I felt that I must publish it exactly as it was when it won the prize. So this important is very important for everyone, especially for the researchers. Rousseau says, I added only a few notes. I also kept two editions that are easy to recognize. The Academy might not have approved these two points which were added. They are called additions. There is another word, addition, that is edition, addition of a book. That is addition with E. It is ATTITION, addition. Whatever you add to something. So 2 points which he added to the original manuscript, he is talking of them. But fairness, respect, and gratitude made me feel that I must acknowledge this. No, very important. A writer has to be very fair. If Rousseau is admired even today, and he will continue to be admired in future, he was fair. He was honest to his words, to his readers, to his audience. He is very clearly telling us, after having submitted the discourse to the academy, he continued to improve upon it and he made many changes, he is telling. And over time, it became almost a new work. But he is saying, since I am going to publish it in the original shape, so it is a matter of fairness and honesty that I tell the readers that 2 points I have changed. It was not in the original discourse. So fairness, respect, and gratitude. It is important. Now, in the researchers community, many of the people, they don't pay attention to these traits. People cheat, they plagiarize, and they take pride in it. So as if it is nothing. So no researcher can become a great researcher if he or she uh, resorts to cheating, plagiarizes. If our idea is original, and even if we make some use of artificial intelligence, I think we should acknowledge it. And if we used AI, it should be for the purposes of refining the language or its presentation. The ideas, the analysis should be our own. We should think ourselves. We can, by working hard and by reading the materials, by reviewing the literature, and by learning the skills, analytical skills, uh, we can be able to write very good works. And we can use different tools to refine the language, the expression, the organization, the order of the. That's okay. But analysis and thinking should come from here. It is first requirement to become a researcher. Researcher is always very honest. If if we learn something from this discourse from Rousseau, it is very important. Now, after preface, the discourse, actual discourse. And Rousseau starts the discourse with a line from Horace. Let me show you. It is here. Yes, it's here. First, let me show in the camera. Yes. So ये देखिए, ये शुरू में लिखा हुआ है ना? You can see there's a line. We are deceived by the appearance of good. We are deceived by the appearance of good. Horace. Horace is an ancient scholar, ancient thinker. The question to examine is, has the revival of the sciences and the arts improved morality, or has it corrupted morality? This was the question which was floated by Academy of the Dijon. It was the topic of the competition, this question. Has the revival of the sciences and the arts improved morality, or has it corrupted morality? Rousseau says, I ask myself, which side should I take? I choose the side that fits a respectable person. I choose the side of someone who knows nothing. Rousseau says, I choose the side of someone who knows nothing. I choose the side of someone who does not feel bad for knowing nothing. Who does not feel bad for knowing nothing. I can already feel that it is difficult to speak here. I must criticize the sciences, but I am speaking before one of the most learned assemblies in Europe. I must praise ignorance. I must praise ignorance. But I am speaking to a famous academy, which is about knowledge, which is about learning. I must reconcile my dislike for study with the respect that is due to truly learned people. But at the same time, Rousseau says learned people also deserve respect. I knew these contradictions. No, there seems to be a contradiction. On the one side, he is saying, I take pride in being in knowing nothing. On the other hand, he says, I also respect the learned people. So there seems to be a contradiction. But he is going to resolve it soon in the coming lines. But they did not discourage me. I said to myself, I am not attacking science. I am defending virtue. He says, I am not attacking science. I am defending virtue. Virtue is goodness. And I am speaking before virtuous people, good people, virtuous, who have virtues.
High standards.
Yes. Good people value honesty. Good people value it even more than scholars value big knowledge. So, why should I be afraid? Should I fear the enlightenment of the assembly? Yes, I should fear it, but only regarding the structure of my speech. I fear the assembly of the scholars regarding the structure of my speech. Otherwise, I don't fear what they think and what they say. Not regarding the views that I hold. I don't fear for my views. A just person is happiest when a fair and enlightened judge decides his case, even if the judge is also involved in the case. Now, the people at the Academy of Dijon, they were the judges. They were going to decide which of the discourse is the best. And they had their own views. The judges, the scholars at the Academy of Dijon, they had their own views, their own like and dislike on this question. So he is referring to them. Rousseau is referring to them. He says, a just person is happiest when a fair and enlightened judge decides his case, even if the judge is also involved in the case. This reasoning gives me confidence, and it joins with another reason I decided to speak. After defending truth as I sincerely see it, not as the society tells me. After defending truth as I sincerely see it. Yes, no matter what happens in public, I will still receive one reward. Whether I win the award or not, if I defend the truth, I will have an inner satisfaction, and that is the best reward. I will find that reward in my own heart. It is a great and beautiful sight to see a human being rise from nothing. A person uses effort to rise. A person uses the light of reason to remove the darkness that nature put around him. A person lifts himself above his limits. A person's mind rises to the heights of the heavens. A person walks across the universe in thought like the sun moves across the sky. And something even greater and more difficult happens. A person also returns into himself. He studies himself, he learns about human nature, he learns about human duties, he learns about human destiny. All of these wonders have come back to life in the last few generations. Europe had fallen back into the barbarism of the earliest ages. You know the dark ages of Europe? Europe was in darkness. Rousseau is referring to it. Europe had fallen back into the barbarism of the earliest ages. The people of this part of the world, which today is very educated, he is talking about Europe, which is today is very educated, lived only a few centuries ago in a condition worse than ignorance. Europe's condition in dark ages was worse than ignorance. A strange and empty kind of scientific language had taken the place of real knowledge. This false language was more shameful than simple ignorance. Scientific language. It stood as a nearly unbeatable barrier to the return of true knowledge. A revolution was needed to bring people back to common sense, to bring people back in Europe to common sense. A revolution was required. This revolution finally came. It came from a place where no one expected it. It was the Muslim, always seen as stupid. Anti-Muslim people, enemies of Islam, Muslims, they, Rousseau says, they have been calling Muslims as stupid people. But Rousseau says this noble work was done by the Muslims who brought Europeans back to sense, back to true knowledge. It was the Muslim, always seen as stupid and as the enemy of learning, who caused learning to return. Muslims caused learning to return back to Europe. Rousseau is acknowledging it is something great. The fall of the throne of Constantine sent the remains of ancient Greece to Italy. So, when the Muslims conquered Constantine, so it opened the ways of learning back into Europe. Italy received these precious remains. So, Greek philosophy, in fact, pay attention on slide 78. Rousseau says the fall of the throne of Constantine sent the remains of ancient Greece to Italy. In fact, ancient Greek philosophy, Muslims studied and they took it to Europe again through Italy. Italy received these precious remains. Then France received them from Italy. After literature returned, the sciences also returned. The art of writing was joined by the art of thinking. This order of events looks strange, but perhaps it is the most natural order. In fact, art is creativity. Art. Artists are creative. They are creative because they think. So, if art flourishes in a society, in a country, in a region, thinking flourishes. So, people start thinking. People began to understand an important benefit of studying the arts and sciences. This benefit was that people become more sociable. They become good for society. They become positive for society, for communities, for the nation. The benefit was that people become more sociable when they think. If they don't think, they are bad. The bad people don't think, in fact. These studies made people want to please one another. They tried to please each other with works that were worthy of mutual respect. So he is admiring some of the things and he is criticizing them as well. The mind has needs just as the body has needs. The body's needs are the base of society. The mind's needs are the decoration of society. Government and laws protect people's safety and well being in social life. The sciences, letters, and arts also act on people. Letters mean writings, books, etc. The sciences, letters, and arts also act on people. They are less commanding than government. Government has more effect on people than arts and sciences. But they are perhaps more powerful. They put beautiful flower garlands on the chains that already hold people down. Arts and sciences, they work like flowers on the flower garlands on the chains that already hold people down. They make people forget the freedom they once had. They make people forget that they were born for freedom. They make people love their own servitude, being servant to others, not free. So, sciences and arts make people love their own servitude. They turn people into what is called a civilized nation. People become civilized, but they are not free. They don't enjoy freedom in the real sense. Need created kings and thrones. The sciences and arts strengthened and supported them. The sciences and arts supported the kings, they supported the thrones. And sciences and arts let powerful rulers love all the talents of their people. And they let them protect the people who practice these talents. Civilized people keep developing your talents. You are happy slaves. So Rousseau is addressing the common people. Civilized people, keep developing your talents. You are happy slaves. You owe your talents many things. You owe them the delicate and refined tastes you are so proud of. You owe them your sweet and gentle manners. You owe them the polite behavior that makes social life smooth and pleasant. You owe them the appearance of all the virtues, but you do not possess even one real virtue. So, again, I'm repeating it. You owe them the appearance of all the virtues, but you do not possess even one real virtue. This is the whole point. This is the crux of his whole argument. In civilizations, civilized people, they appear to be civilized, they appear to be good, but actually they are not civilized, actually they are not good. They appear to be virtuous, but actually they are not virtuous. They don't have virtues. This kind of simple politeness once made Athens and Rome famous. They were famous during their great ages of splendor and greatness. The same kind of politeness is found in our own era and in our own nation. Our era and our nation will probably be superior to all others. Today we have a tone of philosophy without showing off. Tone of philosophy without showing off. Our manners are natural yet also polite. They are far away from the roughness of old German ways. No, look, he is French. He is French. And he is taking pride in being French also, I think. So they are far away from the roughness of old German ways. They are also far away from the exaggerated gestures of Italians. These behaviors come from the taste developed by liberal studies. These behaviors are perfected through social interaction. These polished ways of speaking and behaving are the results of study. They are also the results of living socially with others. Through these studies and interactions, people learn to refine themselves. They learn to behave in a way that looks wise and pleasant to everyone around them. Sciences and arts have sometimes been useful, but they became useful only by accident. Sciences and arts are sometimes useful, but they became useful only by accident. Their main purpose was not to help virtue. The main purpose of arts and sciences was not to help virtue, was not to help goodness. They helped virtue only unintentionally. They brought many evils along with themselves. These evils came naturally from their growth, from the growth of arts and sciences. These evils came naturally from the progress of arts and sciences. Today, people are so used to these evils, which have been brought by arts and sciences. These evils feel so common. People start calling them necessary evils. People start calling them necessary evils. People find excuses for them. People tolerate them. People even become fond of them. And people finally worship them, worship the necessary evils brought by arts and sciences. If this is truly a good thing, then nothing can be more comforting. But if this is not a good thing, then nothing can be more dangerous. People are sure that modern amusements make the mind gentle. People are sure that modern entertainments make the mind polite. But everything in nature shows the opposite. A simple mind can mistake cruelty for roughness, but softness does not prove kindness. If someone is soft spoken, does it mean he or she is really kind? No, may not be. He or she may not be. Softness does not prove kindness. Sweet words do not prove good intentions. Refinement does not prove virtue. These enjoyable entertainments control us strongly. In fact, we enjoy sweetness. We enjoy soft speech. We enjoy manners. These, they hold our hearts. They capture our emotions. They make us suffer quietly. We suffer. Apparently, we enjoy them, but actually, we suffer due to these things. They make us weak without our noticing. We become weak due to these things. They create a taste for comfort. They create a taste for luxury. And these tastes shake moral courage. People often complain that rustic people are rough. Rustic means relating to the countryside, rural. It also means made in a plain and simple fashion, which is not very sophisticated. That is called rustic. People often complain that rustic people are rough. They say villagers are hard in manners. They say villagers behave without grace. But rustic people are sincere. This is the second most important point. Rustic people are sincere. May not be well mannered. They may not be very polite or soft spoken. But pure. They are pure. They are genuine. Yes, yes, please. There's no chair? Usman, can you please? So Rousseau says, people say villagers behave without grace, but rustic people are sincere. Rustic people are honest. It is not necessary that a civilized person is also sincere, pure, and genuine. But rustic people, villagers, who don't know many manners and sophistications, they are honest, they are sincere. He's telling. Yes, this is the whole point. Rousseau is arguing that arts and sciences, they have impaired us. We have become cunning. We have become clever due to our arts and sciences, our education. It has made us clever, and it has deprived us of the sincerity and honesty. The villager who does not have these arts and sciences, who does not know the manners and sophistications, who does not have the comforts, he is sincere. He or she is honest. Their life is pure. Their thought, their thinking, and behavior is pure. Rustic people are straightforward. Rustic people are straightforward. Rustic people have firm and healthy virtues. Rustic people say what they feel. Rustic people do what they say. City people laugh at the rustic man. We, the city people, who are very civilized, very well mannered, very sophisticated, we laugh at the rustic man with the villager man. City people feel superior. City people show polite smiles, but their smiles hide their true thoughts. Their smiles hide their true thoughts. Their fine manners hide their real intentions. When people begin to depend on amusements, they become weak. They lose the strength to resist temptations. They lose the power to control their desires. They lose the ability to prefer virtue over pleasure. So the city people, the civilized people, the sophisticated people, they don't prefer virtue. They prefer their comforts. They prefer their pleasures. Okay, thank you. These entertainments slowly destroy humaneness. These entertainments, these comforts, these pleasures, they destroy humaneness in us. They destroy firmness of character, and we become bad characters. They destroy true courage of the heart. To appear virtuous becomes more important than to be virtuous. The dilemma. To appear virtuous becomes more important than to be virtuous actually after becoming educated, after becoming civilized. People pretend to be good, they pretend to be gentle, they pretend to be noble, but their actions do not match their appearance. Their hearts do not match their words. Many people talk of honesty. Many people praise public good. Many people admire noble feelings, but very few practice these things. A man can appear friendly. A man can appear human. A man can appear compassionate. But when he faces a real test, he fails. His softness disappears when there is a real test. His fine talk disappears. His real character shows itself at the time of the test. When life becomes full of players, good habits weaken. Virtues weaken. People forget their duties. They forget their obligations to society. They forget their obligations to others. They think only about their comfort and only about their pleasures. Their hearts become cold. Their minds become selfish. Their lives become empty. Their actions become meaningless. Some wise people were able to resist the strong trend around them. Some wise people, only some. They lived among the muses. Muse refers to, in Greek and Roman mythology, each of 9 goddesses, the daughters of Zeus and Mnemosyne, who preside over the arts and sciences. These were the Greek goddesses and Roman goddesses. It also muse also refers to a person or personified force who is the source of inspiration for a creative artist. So they kept their character safe. Some wise people who lived among the muses, they kept their character safe. But listen to what the greatest and most unhappy of them said. Now he is referring to Socrates. Rousseau is referring to Socrates. Listen to what the greatest and most unhappy of them said. He spoke about the poets and the artists of his time. He said, I looked at the poets. I see them as people who fool others. They also fool themselves. They act as if they are wise. People think they are wise, but they are not wise at all. Socrates says. Then Socrates said, he turned to the artists. He said, no one knew less about the arts than he did. Says, I don't know much about arts. He truly believed artists had great secrets, but he discovered they were not better than the poets. Poets were fooling others and themselves, and the artists were not better than poets. Socrates says. Both artists and poets make the same mistake. The most skilled among them do their work well. Because of this, they think they are the wisest people. This pride made Socrates respect their knowledge even less. Socrates asked himself, who would I rather be? Myself or them? He asked himself, why would I rather know what they have learned or my awareness that I know nothing? He answered honestly to himself and to God, I want to stay as I am. I want to keep the knowledge that I know nothing. This is the only knowledge Socrates says I have. I know nothing. This is the only knowledge. He said, Socratic irony. Yes, it is also important. Socrates said, none of us know what truth is. None of us know what truth is. None of us know what goodness is. And none of us know what beauty is. But here is the difference between them and me. What is the difference? They know nothing, but they believe they know something. I know nothing and I have no doubt about my ignorance. This is the difference between common people and me. Common people, they understand, they believe, they know something, they are knowledgeable. I know nothing. This is the difference. This is the wisdom the oracle gave me. Oracle means a priest or priestess acting as a medium through whom advice or prophecy was sought from the gods in classical antiquity. Socrates says, it all comes down to this. I clearly understand that I am ignorant of what I do not know. Here is the man considered the wisest by the gods. Wisest by the gods. Here is the most learned Athenian, respected across all of Greece. This man praises ignorance. Socrates praises ignorance. If he came back to life today, he would not change his mind. He would not admire our scholars. He would not admire our artists. He would still think our sciences are vain. He would not add anything to the pile of books that surround us. He would give only one rule to his followers and our children. He would give the same rule as before. He would leave only the example of his virtue. You know, Socrates did not write books. Socrates did not write and publish books. It was his students after him who wrote his thoughts and conveyed to us later generations. He would leave only the example of his virtue. He would leave only the memory of his virtue. This, Rousseau says, is true education. Being virtuous and living an example, virtuous example. This is the true education. He asks, did you shed your blood in Greece and Asia only to enrich architects? only to enrich painters, sculptors, and actors? He asks, are the treasures taken from Carthage meant for a flute player, musicians? He calls out to the Romans, hurry, tear down your amphitheaters, break your statues, burn your paintings, send away the slaves who dominate you, send away the slaves whose dangerous arts corrupt you. He says, let others win fame through such empty talents. The only talent worthy of Rome is conquering the world. The only talent worthy of Rome is making virtue rule. So conquer the world and spread the virtue. So conquering is not for the sake of ruling others. In Rousseau's words, conquering is meant for spreading virtue all over the world. When Cineas saw the Roman Senate, he thought it was a gathering of kings. Cineas was an advisor of King Pyrrhus. He had a reputation for great wisdom. He did not notice pomp. He was a great Greek envoy, and he visited Rome, Roman Empire, and he observed the Roman assembly. And the members of the Roman assembly, they were not millionaires and billionaires. They were simple people. So he did not notice pomp and glory. He did not notice fancy behavior. He did not hear meaningless speeches. Such speeches delight small, shallow minds. What majesty did Cineas see? It was something that wealth and culture could never create. It was the noblest sight under the heavens. It was the assembly of 200 virtuous men. They were actually virtuous, actually good people. These men were worthy of ruling Rome. They were worthy of governing the world. We should look also at our own time. But it is better to skip the disgusting examples in our own society. This will save us from repeating the same things again. It was not useless to bring up the spirit of Fabricius, because the same words could be spoken by Louis XII or Henry IV. In our own times, Socrates would not drink the hemlock poison. Socrates had to drink poison when he was punished. So Rousseau says, in our own times, Socrates would not drink the hemlock, but he would drink something worse. He would drink something worse. He would drink the bitter drink of mockery. Mockery, which is unreal. Mockery means fake, fake behaviors, fake attitudes. So in our times, Socrates would not have to drink poison. Rather, he would drink the bitter drink of mockery. He would drink the bitter drink of scorn. Scorn means contempt, disdain, and open disrespect. These insults would be worse than death. Now we can see something important. Luxury is a punishment. Moral corruption is a punishment. Slavery is a punishment. These punishments come when humans try to escape the peaceful ignorance nature gave them. Wisdom covered herself with a dark veil. This veil should have warned us. It should have told us we were not meant to chase empty knowledge. We are chasing empty knowledge. Is there a single lesson from nature that we have obeyed? Is there a lesson we have ignored without harm? All nations need to understand something. Nature wanted to protect us from knowledge. Nature wanted to protect us from knowledge. Nature wanted us to be virtuous.
Yes.
She wanted to keep us safe. She protects us like a mother who takes a dangerous tool from her child. So, knowledge has become a dangerous tool which has deprived us of virtue. So, nature, when a child is born, he or she does not have knowledge because nature wanted to keep the child safe from this bad thing. The nature wanted the child to be pure, to be genuine, to be virtuous. Every secret of nature is something she hides for our own good. The difficulty of learning these secrets is one of her protections. Humans are already bad, but they would be far worse if they had been born learned. If they had been born with knowledge, they would be more dangerous. These thoughts are humiliating for humanity. These thoughts hurt our pride. Can honesty come from ignorance? Can virtue and knowledge not live together? Is virtue impossible when someone is learned? Many conclusions could come from these questions, but we can solve the apparent contradiction. To do this, we need to examine the sciences and the arts carefully. We must look at the empty pride behind fancy titles. These titles dazzle us. We give these titles too freely to human learning. We must look at the sciences and the arts as they really are. We must look at what comes from their growth. We must compare our own reasoning with what history teaches. And we must admit the truth wherever both sources, whenever both sources agree. Okay, Ji, with this we conclude today's. I conclude today's lecture, and yes, we can continue with the presentations, and